Yo, what's going on guys? It's Tyrant back with another video, and today is a very special one. Yes, the Capcom Fighting Collection 2 drops next month, but big shout outs to Capcom for actually offering me early access to get hands on with the game and take a look at some of the features that we can expect from the final release. So if you've played the first Capcom Fighting Collection or even the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, you probably know what to expect here. We got 8 classic Capcom games, which are all very faithful ports of the arcade versions. You have a number of features allowing you to customize your gameplay experience to your liking, and a whole host of other nice little bonuses as well. So let's take a look at the games in a bit closer detail.
As I was editing this video, Capcom released a trailer showing that they are going to be releasing some quality of life upgrades to all of the Fighting Collections. That's the Fighting Collection 1, the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection, and even this game on release. This includes graphical enhancements, more versions of each title to choose from, and even new versions of each game's soundtrack. Here's an example of what I'm talking about.
You can feel the calm before the storm as the round begins. Fight!
You can feel the calm before the storm after the round begins.
Just a heads up guys, a couple of these games were off limits to talk about, but let's get started with Capcom vs. SNK 1. If you weren't aware, this game uses a very unique ratio system to determine the teams. You can have a team of up to 4 characters, but it's up to you to decide if you want 4 characters that aren't as strong, or 1 extremely powerful character, or 2 medium. It's entirely up to you. I always thought this game was very underrated when it came to the presentation department. Some of these transitions between fights and some of the effects in matches, etc., they look really cool, and I feel like this game doesn't get enough credit in that regard. Of course, like all Capcom Fighting Collection games, you have the original marquees you can look at in game, which are just beautiful works of art in themselves, and you can always use these to brush up on the mechanics or the characters' moves if it's been a while since you played. Of course, one of the main features to all of the games in these collections are the filters. Now, I'm going to let them cycle all the way through to give you guys a rough idea of what to expect, and to see which ones you prefer.
Final round fight.
Alright, one of the other features that this game carries over from the Marvel vs. Capcom Fighting Collection is the one-button special and super moves. Now, the craziest part about this, and the thing that surprised me the most when I saw this in the Marvel collection, is that you can set a button to any single special or super move in the entire game. Now, that goes by a character-to-character basis, and if you have one move that really gives you trouble pulling off, then you can always just set that here, and this is an amazing quality of life feature. I love this from Capcom. I'm 99% sure as well this is going to be the same as the Marvel collection, which disables this in ranked play online. So Sweatlords, don't worry, you're not going to have to deal with any Street Fighter 6 modern control business here. Each title also includes its individual game settings as well as EX settings, which is basically the arcade dip switches, which allows you to enable or disable secret characters, for example. It allows some of the titles to have updated music. It's really cool, and I'm going to be talking about those as we go through each game too. CVS1 doesn't have anything too crazy going for it in this regard. It's mainly just the updated stage music you can have on or off, and a couple of other small features too. Okay, moving on to an absolute childhood favourite of mine, we have Power Stone 2. Choose your hero from a roster of crazy characters and duke it out in 4-player duels. If you've never played Power Stone before, you're in for an absolute treat. This is one of the most fun multiplayer games you can get from this generation. One of the main draws to this game was the fact that you're not only fighting the other players, sometimes you're fighting against the stage as well. It will move around and you'll have to follow the stage, or sometimes fulfill tasks and objectives to avoid taking damage. There's also a ton of items in the game just constantly being thrown at you to use. You can use the environment. It's just over the top crazy fun, and there's not really too much to say about this one in terms of additional stuff for the Fighting Collection. I'm just so excited that this is getting a modern day release. Like, bro, Power Stone in 2025, I am here for it. One of the things that's unique to this collection that actually surprised me was here I was trying to use the quick save and quick load feature. In previous Capcom Fighting Collections, the quick save feature will literally take a save state of there and then. It will load you from the exact same point and you don't have to restart the fight or anything like that. From what I tested, all of the Fighting Collection 2 games seem to take you back to before the fight that you saved from, so it's not exactly a true save state in that regard. It doesn't really affect anything too much, but it's just interesting to note. Anyway, this is a must-play game from this era of Capcom, and you absolutely have to do yourself the favour of giving it a chance. EX settings for this game are nothing too over the top. You have some secret characters, match victory conditions, stage select, and sound style. I also wanted to check out the training mode for this game because it just seemed really weird to me that there would even be a training mode in Power Stone. So I took a look at that, and it's just interesting. You know, you can kind of see what all the characters' moves are, and it's just interesting to see like reload states and stuff like that in this game. Okay, next we have Star Gladiator 2 Nightmare of Bilstein. This is one of Capcom's late 90s 3D titles which didn't really catch on, but I'm sure most of you will recognize Hayato from Marvel vs. Capcom. This is more of a weapon-based fighting game, and I guess you could call it Capcom's answer to Soul Calibur. This does have a really weird roster of characters, and I highly advise you go and check them out. And it's more of like a sci-fi theme game as well, which is kind of cool actually. I really like the vibes here. Of course we have training mode as well if you just want to hone your skills or kind of check out the characters' moves. That's what I mainly use the training mode for, to be honest, just to check out some of the super animations and stuff like that. EX settings don't really have anything to write home about, to be honest. It's just a couple of extra secret characters. Honestly, most of the fun from this game just comes from seeing what the hell the characters are going to do next. Like, I went into giant mode at one point, like transform mode. I don't know, like, it's just see for yourself, honestly. Okay, next up is Project Justice, which of course is the fan favorite follow-up to Rival Schools. This one saw improvements in every regard, and you can choose from a story-based mode where you have sort of more character interactions, and it's almost like a comic book. It's really cool. Of course, there's always going to be people that are not interested in any of that and just want to play arcade mode, so of course there is that as well. You also have a team of 3 characters this time rather than 2, so you can kind of swap between them in each fight. You have all kinds of different team-up moves and stuff like that. Just playing this kind of made me wonder why Capcom's never tried to bring Rival Schools back. It's a really cool concept for a game, and I'm just baffled as to why they've never tried to bring this back aside from a couple of small cameos and stuff like that. EX settings for this game actually has a lot going for it. You can choose to have secret characters on or off, edit characters on or off, which were exclusive to the original Japanese version and kind of removed, I believe, in later versions of the game. I'm not too sure entirely, but it's a bunch of like default kind of generic characters that you can play as, and I picked a team of these guys and just to see what they can do. And yeah, they're pretty generic, but it's pretty cool that they're even included in this to begin with. There's also sound style select and Kyosuke's aerial float on or off. So this is a game-breaking bug where Kyosuke can essentially fly forever. He can activate this with his air super, and then he can just spam projectiles, and there's nothing you can really do about it for the most part. So it's cool to see that they actually addressed game-breaking bugs like this and give you the option to include them, to stay faithful to the original, or to remove them. It's also worth noting that the secret characters in this game are so fun to play as, bro. Wild Daigo is insanely powerful, and Powered Akira, oh bro, like, these characters are so much fun to play as, like, it just doesn't feel fair using them. Okay, time for Street Fighter Alpha 3 Upper. Jesus, okay, we gotta change that. Okay, that's better. This is the final arcade release of Street Fighter Alpha 3. There were versions of this that came after, I believe, for the Game Boy Advance and the PSP that had some extra stuff, some more characters, but this is the last version that was released for arcades. This game boasts one of the best rosters in Street Fighter history, but it's not usually the one you see played in tournament. It's not really favoured by the community that much. Personally, I've never really been a big fan of Alpha 3, like I don't mind it, but I've always preferred Alpha 2 when it comes to the Alpha series. For me, this one just revolves too heavily around V-ism and those custom combos, and I don't hate that, but at the same time, I prefer to keep it a bit more simplistic when it comes to my Street Fighter gameplay. The game is very fast-paced though, and still a lot of fun to play to this day. I imagine the main focus here for people is going to be mostly on the training mode, and of course the EX settings here, which do actually allow you to disable crouch cancel. If you weren't aware, crouch cancel is basically a game-breaking bug that allows you to juggle the opponent infinitely when you shouldn't be able to. You can essentially force the opponent to be unable to tech in the air and just take combos infinitely, and I was able to replicate it here in the training mode to show you what I'm talking about. So yeah, again, it's nice for Capcom to actually give you the option of using these game-breaking bugs or not to keep them faithful to the original, or I guess viable for tournament play in the future. Other than that, it's Alpha 3. The training mode has hitboxes, it has a bunch of different settings, record feature, so, you know, quality of life stuff is there. But yeah, it's Alpha 3. This might be the definitive version to play. I don't really know. I'm not too familiar with the character tweaks specifically or anything like that. But I do know some people will appreciate this and will probably get a kick out of the online features. Okay, this is the big one that everybody's looking forward to, is Capcom vs SNK 2. In terms of mechanics and roster, this might be one of the most jam-packed Capcom fighting games ever made. It's an absolute classic, and this game is still very, very busy when it comes to tournaments. There's always stuff for this game going on at majors, and it's so cool to see this game get a re-release in this day and age, and this is the one that I know a lot of people were so happy to see when it was added to this collection. This is where the marquee comes in very handy. With 6 different groove types, you can brush up on what each one does, but we're all gonna pick 8 anyway, so let's just get it over with.
I wanted to try the online for all of these games as well, but I couldn't quite get it to work. Now this is probably down to this being a pre-release version of the game and either not many people being online or the servers not being active yet. So I wouldn't worry too much. We all know what the rollback was like in the previous fighting collections. It's pretty good, so we should be fine here.
The leaderboards as well, it's the same as it was in the Marvel collection. They're just kind of like default placeholders for the time being. Here are the training mode settings. Of course, you know, you're going to be in here a lot if you play this game because there is a lot to practice. Very execution heavy game. And yeah, you're going to be needing to hit the lab if you want to be drilling those A groove combos. Both the game settings and the EX settings for this title are very busy. There's a lot to choose here to really customize your experience with the game. Undoubtedly, the most important EX setting here is the EO version standard. Now, even if you're the slightest bit aware of CVS2, you must know about how roll cancelling works. Now, certain grooves in the game give you access to a roll, which gives you invincibility properties. If you initiate the startup of the roll, but within 2 frames use a special move, you can give the special move the properties of the roll, which is extremely broken and basically became the meta-defining strategy in CVS2. The EO version of CVS2 was released later on and corrected this. It removed the roll cancelling from the game. So you can choose to have this on or off, and this is very interesting because moving forward, this might be the way that tournaments for this game are played. It's going to be down to the community to decide, but I think changing something like this would be a very, very big move for the community and potentially could breathe some new life into the game. So it's interesting to see that that's here and that's an option that you can have on or off. I also checked the ranked mode rules for this game, and it looks like the EO version is the standard that's going to be played. So no roll cancelling in ranked play, guys. But yeah, the game, just like everything on this collection, is an absolute classic. Like, Capcom killed it again. There were also some museum and gallery stuff, like as to be expected, but I wasn't allowed to show you guys those today. I would love to, but yeah, we're gonna have to wait a little bit more to see what's really in there, as well as the fighter awards and stuff like that. But guys, this is another absolute killer from Capcom, bro. Like, these collections are so good, and I can't wait to see if we get something in the future. Maybe something for like the Xbox 360, PS3 era. I'm talking like Street Fighter 4, Cross Tekken, Marvel 3. Something like that would be a dream come true, bro. And with rollback netcode as well, oh my god, man, that would be incredible. But that's me done for today, guys. But let me know what you guys think in the comments down below, and I want to hear from you all about your thoughts on the Fighting Collection 2 and who's your team going to be in CVS 2. I want to hear it. Anyway, take care, everybody. I'll see you in the next video or stream. Tyrant out of here.